Hello everyone, yes it's Alex, I'm back again for another statue review. Been a few weeks since I've done a review, and with PCS recently releasing a new Mortal Kombat line, I figured I'd dig out Shao Kahn and we'd go over him. So PCS are doing a brand new Mortal Kombat line. It's a fully sculpted diorama style, kind of similar to their Ultra line for Street Fighter. They're calling it the Legacy line. The first statue went up a few days ago, which was Raiden. Fully sculpted, electric effects, very, very nice. EX is 250 edition size and has a light up feature, I think in the base and Raiden's eyes and hand. It looks very, very nice. And this is kind of what I've wanted from PCS for a while, because the MK9 line died and then the MKX line is kind of sputtered and stalled. And my feeling towards the classic line is that they're all pretty shit, apart from Goro and Kataro. But black bases don't work for me for MK at all. So, yes, it's kind of what I wanted. Like I say, it's going to encompass all the games. We're going to get some classic costumes, hopefully, some classic characters, but done in really detailed, modern way, which is what I've been craving for. So I figured we'd get out Shao Kahn. This is from the MK9 line, which has sadly died. To make room for MKX, and like I said, the MKX line hasn't done fucking great. But the MK9 line was only 5 statues. We started with Scorpion, we had Shao Kahn, Katana, Baraka, and Sub-Zero. So they mix really well with the MKX stuff. And luckily, only Sub-Zero and Scorpion have been done again. So Shao Kahn, Katana and Baraka, really nice, mixed in, to give you a fuller cast. And hopefully this new line will, fill in those gaps. Like a mixed media Raiden came out not long ago, and it's kind of pissed a few people off that they're doing another Raiden. It is the MK2 Raiden again. I much would prefer MK9 or MKX, but they're going for MK2, which I can't blame them. It's very recognisable. It's probably one of the most popular forms of Raiden. So, yes, but like I say, this line for me is just going to fit in so well with the MKX and MK9 stuff, in my opinion. The fully, like I say, they're fully sculpted on these huge diorama bases, and I really think it's going to just slot right in. So, I've been wanting, Raiden's a must-have, in my opinion, for a Mortal Kombat collection, and so I've been slightly disappointed when he wasn't announced for MK9 or MKX even. I figured he would have been a shoe-in for one of those lines, but sadly not. But now we're getting him in MK2, and I think this line hopefully will revitalise a bit of excitement for the MK stuff. And with MK11 probably around the corner next year or the year after, hopefully we'll get back on that bandwagon and everything will be go again. So Shao Kahn, limited to 350 pieces. This is the regular version, and I'll explain why I didn't get the exclusive in a second. The regular is limited to 350. Number 44. I think this is the point where Jerry wasn't signing these because there's no signature. Mine is a bit battered, which the seller didn't tell me, which pissed me off a bit, but hey ho. So it's 350, this one, it is a regular. Now the exclusive version was called the Conqueror Edition. And I didn't go for the exclusive because it does not have the hammer. It has a spear. If you've played MK, I think he does them in 3, but mainly in MK9, he throws like glowing green spears. And for some reason they didn't include the hammer and the spear, it only includes the spear. So the Conqueror Edition, you can find, I think they only did 150, 200 of them. But you can find that quite readily. This one as well you can find very readily, as this is still in stock at Pop Culture Shock's website. It's $350, which is a bit of a bargain nowadays of how prices are going. And recently PCS have been doing ridiculous sales of 30% off, so you would get that statue for, $260 shipped, which is ridiculous because it's a really, really nice statue. Now, as it said on the little certificate here, it is 1/4 scale, but it is a little bit small. Now, with the rest of the MK9 line, it looks fine, but because of this huge wide stance that Shao Kahn's got going on, it does seem a little short. He's only about 17 inches to the top of the hammer. But, you know, proportion-wise, he's big, you know. And MK9 Shao Kahn isn't exactly as huge as MK2 and 3. 2 and 3, he was like... The guy who played him in 2 and 3, if you look this up, was only about 5'9". He wasn't even 6 foot, but he had the body, the mass. So in the game, they actually scaled the sprite up to make him a lot bigger. And there's actually a picture of Shao Kahn in full armour and all that, and Ed Boon standing next to him, and Ed Boon's towering over him. So in the original 2 games, 2 and 3, they scaled him up to be a lot bigger. So PCS are actually doing a classic version. Well, they have done a classic version, which should be shipping in January, and that's a lot bigger, a lot badder. I mean, the classic line is very large. It's overscaled anyway. It's like 1/3.5 sort of. You know, it's much bigger than 1/4 scale. So it's going to be a hell of a big Shao Kahn. But I don't like the aesthetics of the old Shao Kahn, and I don't want a black base. But the MK9 design is rather fucking great, in my opinion. So, shall we start at the top? We'll start at the top. So as you can see, you've got the huge hammer, his classic hammer, with the MK logo in there. Some nice shading silvers, and it's got a real metal look. Obviously it is polystone. All this arm comes off as a separate piece, which I was surprised at when I got it, because I figured if the arm came off, why didn't they include both for the EX? But I'm guessing that was to keep costs down. All the armour and the spikes, you didn't get none of this on the classic version. And the musculature, well, the paints aren't as great as what PCS do now, because I think PCS paints are fantastic now. It's definitely well shaded. There's none of like the veining. There's a bit in the legs, but it's not as noticeable as on the newer statues. Really nice sculpt on the back. Not one bit of mixed media on this, as I said. While we're up top, now even though this is the regular, it does come with a switch out head. The joint on the head's actually really well hidden, especially the masked version. So you've got these fantastic dragon eyes. And the skull's got like a wash on it. It's really well done. You know, it's not going to set the world alight, but it's a really solid paint job. And you see all the divots in the helm and scratches. So the other head you get is this head, which is Shao Kahn unmasked. So this is very much based on how they did him in the comics. I don't think he's ever been shown unmasked in the games, but in the comics, the early comics, they had this weird finger design. It doesn't work for me. It's okay, but he needs this helmet. He really needs it. It's a nice extra, but of course, because you haven't got the big helmet, mind you saying that, there's the join. No, it isn't. That's actual fold. That's actually really well hidden. A lot better than I thought it was. Because I haven't really displayed this head, but actually because of the neck folds, it's actually quite well hidden. But, you know, with the helmeted head on, you really, really can't tell. It just looks like his jawline. And then if we come down a bit, this is what I love about the MK9 design, these huge pieces of armour on the legs, like the scale mail. And you've got these two huge loincloth flaps. Nice texture, nice painted. All the paints are very, very fucking clean. As most pop culture shock stuff is, to be honest. All the detail in the hands and the armour, and if you come a bit further down, you've got like all the bones on the leg. This is, like I said, this is all one piece apart from the base, the head and the hammer. And then the base kind of looks to me like where you fight Shao Kahn. So the stage has got his throne, it's got Scarlet chained up, it's got the huge beast in the background, the huge arena of all the crowd. A large column here that's been cracked. Slightly different texture for the marble inside. It's a plain base. It's got a nice wash on it. I would say it's got a better wash and a better paint job on it than Kotal Kahn's has. It looks more consistent. There's lots of dark paints in here and a few bits and bobs here, there and everywhere. And then at the bottom around the ridge there, we've got this dark paint which really offsets the light tones on the top. And like I say, he is considered to be slightly underscaled. He only stands around 17 inches, and that's with quite a thick base. But if you put him in with your other MK9 stuff and your MKX stuff, he looks pretty, he looks the part. I've had him at Kotal Kahn's a really big statue. Go and check my Kotal Kahn review out. He's about 10 inches taller than this guy. But he's in he's got his hand above his head. He's got this, this huge body. I just prefer this aesthetically. So, that's my choice. I'm sure the new one from PCS, the classic, will be perfect for you guys who like musculature, who like, big men. I know there's a lot of you guys out there who like big men. And I think Jerry's had his hand on that, so, it's a treat for people who like Jerry's sculpts, which I know a lot of us do. But for me, for 200 quid, which I think is what I paid for this guy, it's my Shao Kahn. I'm not the biggest Shao Kahn fan, to be honest. He's only been playable in a couple of games, Trilogy and Armageddon. So, he's not, but, as a boss character, he's pretty fucking cool. And like I say, aesthetically, MK9 version is definitely all me. I like the modern interpretations of things. I like updates. When they're done right, I do like the updates. But yeah, so the only other thing that might be coming is a 1.4 version on Throne, which, at a guess, they would probably go for this version again, MK9 version, because you need these finer details, I think, for when you're making something that big. It may be quarter scale, it may be 1/3 scale. Probably keep an eye out for that in the next year or two. I know Jerry said there will be one at some point. It wouldn't bother me. This is more than enough for my Shao Kahn needs. I'm not some weak, pathetic fool. It's terrible. Terrible. Why did I say it? But there you go, guys. It's a good, solid 8 out of 10 statue. Good musculature, good paint, cracking pose. Swap out head's pretty cool. It's cheap. It's cheap. Cheapness all makes all the difference. If this was going around for 600 quid or 500 quid, I wouldn't be buying this. But for 200, hey, it fits in perfectly with the rest of my Mortal Kombat statues. And it looks great. So there you go, guys. Quick little ditty on Shao Kahn. Hopefully next should be... I've got a couple of other MK PCs, but I'll probably end up doing Deadpool Heatseeker. That's supposed to be here tomorrow, so we'll see. But until then, guys, stay frosty. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.